Hello. Thanks for tuning in into another video. I'm going to give my tips for this great UFC card. The BMF belt is on the line. So yeah, get excited guys. It's going to be one of the best cards in a while. Some really good matchups here. Just wanted to talk about a few that I find personally a bit more interesting. Some of the early fights, I think they'll be good, but I'm sort of more interested in a few of these ones. First fight I like Cody Garbrandt versus Xiao Long. I think this is a great fight for Cody. Old No Love's been on the end of a few beatings. He's took them well though. I think his chin's definitely on the way out. So I would say if he probably can't beat this up and coming Chinese guy, probably hang it up would be my opinion. He's not too good, this guy, this Chinese fella. He's only won one fight in the UFC. He won it by KO, so I mean he can probably stand and bang. And like I said, it's going to be a test for Cody more than I think for this Xiao Long dude. If Cody's chin can't handle the punches anymore, this could be the end of him. He might as well hang it up. He's coming off 2 losses, but to good guys, you know. Ronnie Barcelos, that guy's a beast, and Davison Figueiredo submitted him. So there's no shame in any of those losses. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how this Xiao Long guy performs. We haven't seen a lot of him. Can Cody land enough damage on him? He's got to probably go for a decision here. I reckon he's going to be a bit shy. So yeah, I'm more interested in to see what Xiao Long brings to the table in this fight. But I think it'll be a good fight, and it's a good fight for Cody. He needs a bit of an up and comer to keep his sort of momentum in the UFC. Otherwise, he might as well, like I said, just retire now. So I'll go Cody Garbrandt by points in this one, I reckon. That's my prediction for this fight. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Another good fight, one of the fights I'm certainly really keen to watch. I love Gregory Rodriguez, RoboCop, and Bruno Ferreira is no slouch either. 2 of my favourites. I don't know why they keep putting such good Brazilian prospects together. I mean, one of them's got to go, but, you know, I just think they could spread the matchups out a bit, you know, keep the Brazilians fighting different guys. But anyway, it's a good fight. Hell of a fight. RoboCop's a beast. He's a huge human being. My only concern with RoboCop is he gasses out. So if he ever does get to the higher level in the UFC, that's where, you know, it's going to be hard for him carrying around that much muscle to go 5 rounds. Bruno Ferreira's shown himself to be great all-rounder. He's good with submissions. He's good with KOs. But I think he's going to have a bit of trouble with RoboCop. Marvin Vettori, Bruno Ferreira beat him in his last fight. And that, you know, that's a higher level fight for him. You know, Marvin Vettori's a top guy. But RoboCop's had numerous battles with high level competition. I think Kopilov's a really good fighter. And RoboCop beat him. Jack Hermanson, I think he's going on the downhill, but he was always a good fighter. So I think when you look at the competition both guys have faced, I'm leaning towards RoboCop just for the fact that he's fought better guys. But Bruno's still a bit fresher, still coming up in his career, so we can't really take a lot away from that. He's only fought Marvin Vettori, as you know, I said before, he's considered, in my opinion, a higher level guy. So I think, you know, as Bruno keeps going, he'll get a few more challenges and we'll see really where he's at. But yeah, no, definitely leaning towards my boy RoboCop in this one. Could be a big KO. I think normally when it's 2 Brazilians, they have a lot of respect for each other, in my opinion. So I think this will be more than likely a points decision to RoboCop, probably just edging him out. But you know, like I said, Bruno's good on the ground. So if Bruno gets it down, it could be a submission win, especially as RoboCop starts to slow down later in the fight. So yeah, I'm going with RoboCop though. I think either KO or more likely later round decision in that fight. Next one I want to talk about, Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson. You got the old veteran versus the young bull. Drew Dober's a beast. He loves trying to knock people out. He gets knocked out himself quite often. He's nothing super special, Drew Dober. He's a young sort of muscly dude that likes to punch. I don't think we'll see much grappling. Both guys are sort of stand-up fighters. He's not done too well in his recent career. I don't really rate Drew Dober as that good a fighter. I think he's got a great entertaining style, but I just don't think he's that good. Michael Johnson, he's sort of aged a bit like wine. He's gotten better over time. He's got a hell of a fight here, though. Drew Dober, if he lands clean, it could change the fight early. Like, I don't think Michael Johnson can take the punches he once could. But he's hard to hit. He moves well. He's going to be evading Drew for probably the early round and a half, I think, maybe. But, he's fought guys like this before. I think Ottoman Azayatar is a very similar sort of guy. And Michael Johnson got to him. The Daniel Zellhuber fight, he likes to crack and get cracked. And, Johnson got the better of him. So I wouldn't be surprised if Johnson just works towards a 3-round decision here. I don't think he's got the power to probably knock Drew out. Although he does, Drew leaves himself there to be hit. So, but I think Johnson works behind his jab well. And I think that's probably what's going to be the difference in this fight. Probably win him the fight. Rob Font versus Raul Rosas Jr. Bit of old Chihuahuas in this fight. He's good with a takedown. But Rob Font's good at defending takedowns. I don't think Raul Rosas has faced the same level of competition that Rob Font has. He's been a bit of a mainstay in the rankings for a while here. But I think if Raul can win this fight, he should get a ranking. He's showing us that he's got all the abilities. He's a great young up-and-comer. He can knock people out. He can submit them, even though he's only knocked one guy out. I don't know. It's going to be a tough fight for Rosas, I think. It's not going to be as easy as I think everyone sort of thinks it will be. Even him, I think he's probably thinking, it's only Rob Font. This will be a good test for him, though. So I definitely lean towards probably Rob Font. But, Raul's younger. He's quicker, more explosive. He's going to have more energy. I can see... I think this fight will go the distance again. I don't see anyone getting knocked out. So if Rob can keep it standing, I could see him edging it on points by just using the jab and moving around the ring good, working the body well, landing good leg kicks, just little things like that to just chip away at Rosas, slow him down a bit, give him a hard night with the grappling. But it's hard to say. It's a tough fight to pick, this one. It's going to be a matter of how far along Rob's gone in his career. How washed up is he? Does he still have some good performances left in the tank? Like, he's never been a real standout fighter, in my opinion. But he's fought, like I said, some of the better guys in the division. So, and he's held his own. He's always put on a good show. It's not like anyone's just ran through him. And I think Raul Rosas is one of those dudes where if he doesn't get in there and take you down early, he's not going to really come into the fight as much as he'd like. He's definitely not going to do much on the feet. So I think it's a hard fight to pick, but I'm leaning towards the underdog in this one. I think, if you're Rob Font, you just want to be firing knees, uppercuts, anything to stop him taking you down. And if you can stop him taking you down and grappling you, I think that's... you're going to win the stand-up battle against him. I don't think he's very polished with the striking, Rosas. But who knows, man? It's Chihuahuas. He's young, and I think he is a gun. Don't get me wrong. He's a wicked grappler. So anything could happen in this fight. But yeah, like I said, I'm leaning towards Rob Font. Definitely a decision in this fight. Unless Rob catches him big knee when he comes in for a takedown. That's what I'd be saying. Definitely look for uppercuts and knees. Try and stop him. Just to bait him off his shooting, because if he gets you down, I think it's going to be hard to get back up. But Rob's one of those guys that can do it. All right, here we go, guys. Another fight that I think is really interesting. The co-main event of the evening. Caio Borralho versus Reina Dorita. Two really good fighters. Great all-round sort of fighters. Caio disappointed me in his last fight that he didn't try and do more submissions or more takedowns. But that just goes to the level of Nasruddin Imavov. I think, he's a great at defending takedowns and great with just jabbing away at a fight. And, Reina Dorita, he's sort of a similar style. He's a bigger, tall guy, same as Nasruddin. but he doesn't have the same pop in the jabs. He's not as quick. He likes a brawl, but I think he prefers a wrestling. But I think he'll be a bit shy after his last fight. He sort of gassed out. He cooked himself. I mean, he had fought a lot that year. 4 times in 1 year is unbelievable. So I don't know, guys. I think he's going to be a little bit gun shy. I think he's not going to want to grapple quite as much. Brendan Allen sort of, wore on him with his grappling. So I don't think he's he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's quite at the grappling level he probably thinks he is. So I'm going to lean towards a Brazilian in this one. I always love my Brazilians, but I think KO's probably got more advantage on the feet. I don't think he's going to go to the ground, but if he needs to, he can hold his own. And like I said, I think he'll be surprised if he does get Rainier down. He might be able to hold him. He might be able to, probably land some good ground and pound. I don't think he will submit him, but he could if he tries to, especially if he gets him hurt. I think Rainier is going to be the one looking for the submissions more so in this fight. But I think, Rainier's best weapon is just his ring IQ. He's a very intelligent fighter, I believe. So it's going to be a tough fight for KO. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I'm definitely leaning towards KO in that one. And I think it wouldn't surprise me if it is by KO in the later rounds, but I think more likely decision in that fight too. So yeah, definitely go with the Brazilian in that one. And then we got the main event, guys. One of for the baddest motherfucker, 2 of the best fighters in the UFC, in my opinion. Both very entertaining. Max Holloway, you know what you're going to get. Tough as nails. Some of the best, cleanest striking. That Calvin Kattar fight. Jesus. The guy's a fucking weapon. And both of them, what a history of fucking names they've got on their list. The credentials these guys have is unbelievable. I like Charles Oliveira a lot, though. I can see him having good success in this matchup. I think the takedowns are going to be a real threat for Holloway. He's going to have that in the back of his mind for the whole fight. And it's not easy worrying about that and trying to defend takedowns. I think Charlie's going to shoot pretty often. He's going to be trying to clamp down on something, but don't get me wrong, he likes to swing too, and he's gotten so much better with his striking. I remember in the early days, Charles Oliveira just used to rock him on the feet, and then he'd grapple with him and take him down, and that was his go-to for so many fights. He'd hurt him on the feet and then take him down, and then submit him. So, look, I think Charlie's in for a hell of a fight. It's going to be a tough fight. Max Holloway looks good at lightweight. He's had a few fights at lightweight now. He's sort of come into that shell a bit more, but I still think Charlie's going to be probably the heavier guy. He's got, I think, a little bit naturally bigger frame. But they're very similar, same height, same sort of build. I think the damage that probably Charlie's taken is what really concerns me. He has been knocked out a few times. Like I said, in his early career, he was a bit hit and miss, but he would go in there and he would trade punches and just hope for the best. And he'd come out on top a lot of times. He'd rock the other guy and he'd come back and finish him. But, that's not really good. I mean, it shows you're a durable fighter, but it's not good for your longevity. Holloway's always been a clean fighter. He got KO'd by Tuporia. But apart from that, he's never really had any sort of real serious knockouts. He's lost a few decisions, but, I think the first fight's nothing to go off of. Charles dislocating his shoulder. I don't think anything like that's going to happen again. I think Charlie is going to want to stand and trade with Max a bit more, but, he'll soon work out that we're going to go to the ground, and it's going to come down to if Max can keep him off him, if he can get back to his feet, or if he can defend the takedowns. I think that's going to be the story of this fight. If Charlie gets him down, it's going to be probably his fight. He'll probably win a decision with the grappling. He could submit him, but I think Max Holloway's very, good submission defense. He'll be aware of everything that's going on. He'll probably he'll struggle to get back to his feet because he's so worried about getting, choked out or something locked up. I think Charles is going to want to trade, and if he does rock him, like Tuporia did, then he could go for his vintage move, rock him, take him down, submit him. I'd love to see that, but I don't know. I think Max is too smart. But Charles is smart too, you know. He's not going to stand there like Justin Gaethje and let Max fucking tee off on his head in the last minute. Hell of a fight. Yeah, so I'm going with Charles Oliveira, you know, old dude Bronx. He's got the all-time leader in finishes in the lightweight division. So, you know, he deserves to be the baddest motherfucker in my opinion, just with that stat alone. He's going to go out there and put on another entertaining fight. I could see him get clipped and get knocked out, but I think more likely his wrestling comes into play in this fight. The submission skills come into play in this fight. I don't, like I said, I personally can't see Charles getting a finish. I think he'll dominate him on the ground, but he'll hold his own on the feet. It won't all be one-way traffic for Max Holloway, but yeah, Max will definitely have the advantage with the jabs and the movement. So yeah, hopefully Charles gets him on the fence, drags him down to the mat, elbows on the ground. You know, good ground and pound, good technical grappling, and you know really imposes his little bit extra solid frame, little bit extra weight. So yeah, that's my prediction, guys. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy. Hope you like the fights. Bye.